Hey guys, welcome back for another video. So I've got something on the bench here that I had something in mind for as soon as I saw the pictures. Well, as soon as I paid attention to the pictures. Let me explain. This is not only going to be a fun project where I'm going to try this sub $100 watch and turn it into something that looks like at least something closer to a $500 watch. Not adding any value to it, but just make it look like it with some simple, inexpensive changes. Now, if you look at this, I think it's a very interesting dial. I love the look of it. It's a very small watch. They say it's a 38, but man, does it wear small on my wrist. I've got a couple others that are listed as 38 and they just wear bigger. Now, I've got 7.5-inch wrists. So, I mean, they're on the larger side of normal. I can wear so far any stock strap or bracelet, sometimes on the last or second to last hole, but still it fits. But man, this thing almost looks like a lady's watch. And I think part of that is because this bracelet is super thin. It's an 18 mil up here, which means if you're swapping to a leather strap, it's going to be 16 down at the buckle. That's small. I mean, it wears small. Now, I got this specifically because it looked interesting. When I buy watches, whether it's to wear them or just to look pretty in my boxes, it's got to be interesting. Color, contrast, texture, design, features, something has to spark my interest. There's nothing I have that doesn't have a specific thing that caught my eye. And with this, it's the overall design and the contrast of those vertical lines going around the perimeter of the dial with the nice, simple, elegant design of the indices and hands. And it's got a day date, which I absolutely love. All of my watches at least have to have a date function. That's just something I love in a watch. But I skipped over this thing many, many times. Look at the marketing photo from Seiko, and you find this on virtually anywhere that's selling it online. It just looks like a plain old black dial dress watch, and I passed over it until I hovered over it one day and saw the closer detail, and then I noticed, hey, there's something there. Well, that looks like it might be kind of interesting. Now, the reason I took a second look and took a chance buying it is because I know that photos can make or break a product. You can make a really bad product look great and vice versa. I'm a photographer. I know how to photograph things, and the way Seiko and other manufacturers are just flatly lighting and almost making it look like an illustration, I think they're losing a lot of customers. So I picked it up, and I was not unhappy when I took this out and I saw that, yes, indeed, it has texture and detail and depth, and that looks awesome. So first thing I did was put it on and took it right back off. This is the world's worst bracelet. I am not exaggerating. It feels like it's made of plastic. It is so lightweight. Looks good. Looks good in pictures. I will give it that. You got the two-tone stainless brushed and polished look, but looks are only skin deep in this instance. It is completely hollow. The worst folded, stacked stamp job you've ever seen. Every link is just cheesy. I mean, I have literal $6 Chinese bracelets that are worlds better than this. No bushings. There's slop in every single joint. Ripped my arm hair out in 10 seconds. Just terrible. The clasp is actually okay. It's a basic stamped clasp. You've got the polishing and you've got the brushing, and it works fine. And it's got even some micro adjustment, but it's absolutely useless. So this is immediately I knew coming off. I mean, I plan on that anyway with any really inexpensive watch like this. I'm going to put something nicer on it, but I didn't want to just go black. I mean, we've got the nice black dial here. I think a black band would just, or strap would just, get lost. So I'm thinking a gray. I've never done gray, but I think with the highly polished bezel, the brushed parts of the case, at least, it's a two-tone case also. You got brushed and polished. I think it looks great. I think a gray strap will really look nice. So I picked up a new full grain gray leather strap. It's got a tiny bit of a green tinge in it, which I think goes great with the silver. So haven't put it on yet, but I think in my head it's gonna go great. And then we'll put on the only 16 mil single fold clasp I have right now is this De Beer brand, this the $10 job that I showed in my shootout video. But as soon as Gecktoa comes back in stock with their 16 mils, I'm gonna pick a bunch up because I definitely prefer the push buttons. But this is all I have for now. So we'll just throw this on because I love single folds. And I think that's gonna be a good combination. That's not all we're doing, because I mean, that would be a nice upgrade in and of itself, but that really doesn't change the main value in your head when you look at a watch. Now, here's the thing with this. When I glance at this, my eye goes straight to the friggin' Superman symbol. I know it's a 5, but especially this version of it with that like little crest, they're calling it a shield. Yeah, all I see is Superman. I cannot stand it. I think it makes this watch look cheap. That's all there is to it. I think it makes it look way less expensive having that 5 and shield there. It just does nothing for me. I know it's got symbolism and history. None of that means anything to me. I think it looks like crap. So I'm gonna try to remove it. I think just the Seiko and the bottom text and the date is going to dramatically improve the look of this. It's gonna give more black to the inner circle, and it's gonna make the Seiko stand out, whereas it just looks like a, you know, I don't know, kid's toy almost. I just hate it. Now, I don't know exactly how it's put on. So we're gonna have to disassemble it partially, take the movement out, take the dial off, take the hands off, and see how it's attached. I can tell that it is applied. I wasn't sure when I got it if it was painted or not. If it was painted, well, I was just gonna live with it. Under 100 bucks, who cares? It just looks cool. But it is applied, so if it's glued, that's probably gonna be an issue. Hopefully it's not. I don't know, haven't looked, but we're going to find out. So the first step is to take this bracelet off. We're just gonna separate it here. Now let's take the bracelet off the case. Okay, goodbye, garbage bracelet. You are gone forever. Not even keeping that for parts. Now, let's remove the case back. Try the old rubber ball first. That's on there pretty good. Now, we gotta break it loose. There we go. Okay. Now let's get the movement out. So let's see. I've done this before. We're gonna pull the crown out to the last position. Oh man, that is tough with cots on. Can't get my thumbnail under there. There we go. And we should see a little lever. Where'd the lever go? Thought there was a little pop-out lever, but I don't see it. Might have to pause and research. This is the way my videos are going to be for a while, as I run into things for the first time. I know some of you are going, dude, it's right there. See, I'm not sure if that little wave thing right there is what I'm looking for or not. All right, so that is not what I was looking for. Is there a button nearby? Okay, I think I got it. Had to find the right video because everyone was just skipping over it real quick and not explaining it. Crown needs to be in on this, not pulled out. And it's not a lever you push in or pops out. When it's in all the way, the selector pivots and there's like a little dimple right at the end here. And it just sort of looks like it pivots. So let's try to just push that little divot. All right, so it barely moved. Let's see if the crown comes out. No. Okay, maybe I have to hold it so you can see it pop back out there. Let's try. I don't want to scratch anything. My brass tweezers don't come in until later this week. Let me try something wood. Safer. There we go. Okay, so it needs constant pressure. Just using the pegwood there, I could feel it. It removed all the clickiness from the stem, so it just kind of slid. Let's see if it comes all the way out, and it does. Okay. Well, there's that. Not hard once you know the trick, but knowing the trick, that's the trick. So set him up there. All right, so we've got this ring, and sometimes they come out before the mechanism and sometimes with. So we'll try it with first. Does not want to budge, okay. So let's see if it comes out on its own. We'll look for an easy point to grab. All right, well, you got me. Every video just shows it flipping and it falls out. I assure you, it is not going to fall out. There's nothing that I can see holding it in. The spacer ring is on the other side. It's not holding it down. There are no screws. I'm going to just guess that you just have to kind of get it started. Not sure which tool would be best for this. I don't want to really pry with pliers. I'm going to go in where the crown goes, since I know there's nothing really delicate there that's going to get bent if I accidentally hit it. It's just that selector. I'm just going to try to grab the edge of this bridge and just pry a little bit, just see if I get any kind of movement. Hey, oh, okay. Okay, that's just super snug where that plastic ring is hitting the case. So if it doesn't fall out, give it a little nudge. Okay, now we're in business. All right, set that down so we don't get any dust. Put a cover over that and the case back. Okay, so now we're where I want it to be. Right there, okay. So, just gonna put it in and aim for that square hole. Man, it is really hard to feel through these finger cots. I'm not really forcing anything, I just wanna turn it a bit until I can feel it try to go in. Yeah, I can get no tactile feedback through these things. Maybe it went in and it was just so slick I didn't notice. Yeah, it did, okay. Now I want the dial off. And how are we attached? I see a couple plastic, just kind of plastic pin looking things. Not sure if it's because of this ring. Let's see if we have to take that off. I guess we can take the crown back out since we don't need it. Got what looks like a pry point, but I don't want to just start prying on the dial, that's for sure. Probably isn't. Just looking to see if I need to remove this spacer before the dial, or if it matters. You know what it looks like? These look like snaps. It looks like the plastic is snapped onto the outer ring of the movement, maybe? There's got to be a technique to this. Some order. All right, let me look that up. Well, contrary to my belief, we are indeed supposed to just use those as pry points and pry the dial up. So we're going to try that with a screwdriver carefully. Just twisting it. Oh, and it does move. Look at that. Let's try the other side. Nope. Just kind of lift it, I guess. It's just coming up on those little legs that are just a light friction fit into the plastic. Here we go. Okay. So this guy can go off to the side. Now the question is, how is that shield attached? I'm gonna have to clean that dial with Rodico before I put it back together. Got some fingerprints or something on it. Are those rivets? Soldering? Kind of hard to tell. So what do we got? Okay, so the top two are for the Seiko. I'm looking at these little gold dots. And the middle bottom two are that shield. So that's what lines up. Okay, so how do we get that out? Well, at least I don't think it's glued. So maybe some kind of punch? I can't drill it. That's too small. Question is it just the very center tip of that holding it on, or the whole diameter? Let me see what I got. So this is what I'm going to try. I've got my tool here underneath for punching out pins and bands and stuff. I've got the dial protected with these cloths, and there's a hole underneath where the two little dots are. Now I saw a suggestion of using a pin and a hammer to just kind of punch out those two little holes. I looked for any kind of tool I had that was more substantial than a pin, but they're all too large. So got the wife's sewing kit. We're gonna find a pin that will work. I think one of these guys might do it. And I've got my Mega Thor hammer. Tink, tink, tink. And we're gonna give it a shot. Nothing yet. I'm either gonna punch a hole through or it's gonna move. So far, neither one. Let's try the other hole. Now, of course, I'm not hammering hard. I'm almost just letting it fall on the pin. Could be I need more strength, but nothing's happening so far. I don't want to use a bigger hammer. Oops, see, missed. I am not a carpenter, by the way. Horrible, especially at driving nails. Let me just see if anything's happening on the other side real quick. No, not a thing. All right, might just need more force. I'm bending the pin. Maybe, oh, hey, it fell off. Look at that. I must have started to poke a hole through it, or the vibration just broke it right off the two little stands. Now I've got two little gold dots. Interesting. Okay. And underneath is just some residue. Got a lot of schmutz. Anyway, I need to wipe it clean. All right, now I want to, it looks like maybe there was a little bit of glue on there because I've got a thin outline. I'm not going to touch it with these tweezers, but I got a thin outline of where the shield was. It just looks like glue residue. Can I see through? Okay, those holes are actually open. So even though there's a lot of the, what I'm assuming is brass, it's probably what this is made of, and the black is a coating. There's still plenty visible. The tiny holes got probably poked with the pin because I can see behind them. They are tiny, tiny open holes, which is fine. We can fill and color those. What I want is for that to disappear, at least as much as possible. Certainly not with open holes. So I'm thinking just a quick dab with alcohol. And we can see, there's the shield. And we can see if alcohol will take that residue off. I don't think that would damage the dial at all. I'm not going to rub it or anything. Let's give it a shot. What I don't want to do is accidentally soften any glue under that Seiko if it's indeed present. I'm just trying to hit that little shield thing. Just want to get rid of it. I think what's left is actually an outline of that part touching the dial or pressed into the dial, because I kind of feel it with my finger there, even through the cot, even through the cloth. It's like a raised line. Okay, so that got rid of all the haze. I think that's the best I can do. There's nothing else to remove off the dial. Now, I'm going to try and fill the back there with marker or paint pen. Let me see what I got. All right, I got a few options. I've got a black touch-up paint pen for my motorcycle. I think that would be way too thick. I could use a Sharpie, but I'm not sure if it would actually fill the hole, even though it's tiny. And I've got these little tiny art acrylic pens. I'm gonna give this a shot first. It's kind of in between. Goes on like a marker, but it's kind of paint, so it's a little thicker than Sharpie. I just want to dab into those holes. Actually, I want to, just in case I get any through. Just want to see if it makes a difference on the other side. Let that dry. I think that should at least make it disappear a little bit more. We'll see in a few minutes. Okay, we are nice and dry. That will definitely work. That is good enough. Unless you know it's there and you're looking straight at it, definitely an improvement. I mean, is it perfect? No, but nothing will be because there's holes poked in and there's a indent in the dial. So that's just better than the shield in my opinion. So especially just off light. I mean, on camera, this is gonna be reflecting everything like that. That's not how you see it, especially inside the crystal. So that is good. Let's go ahead and reassemble. There we go. This is the cheap Chinese or Amazon branded Rodico, by the way, not the real stuff. And so far, I'm finding it works just fine. I see a lot of people saying you have to buy the name brand stuff, and this stuff sucks. Well, as far as picking up dust and dirt, which is all I've done with it so far, you tell me. Looks just fine. Now we can put the hands back on. Let's see. Our hand first. Is there a top side? Yes. Ah. I've only done this a few times. And yes, I know I should be using brass, but don't have them yet. So I'm just being very careful. One thing I haven't learned yet is exactly how far down to push them. I know that you need to get them level, and of course, straight with one another. I just barely put enough pressure to get it seated. You know, I'm not sure. I've only had one second hand where there was a pop, but the other ones, I just make sure they're on there and level and good. So I don't want to be, you know, pushing anything down through or anything like that. Just lightly touching is all I'm doing. All right, there we go. Those are lined up. Now for the seconds hand. I can see why a microscope would be handy. I'm just using my readers. All right, just another quick look for dust and prints. So let me think, what do I have to do next? I have to put it back in the case because that was such a tight fit. I don't want to have it get stuck or anything going back in. I mean, that's a tight fit going in too. Holy moly. Not a fan of any kind of pressure fit like this. It opens up to human error. I prefer things that just fit like they're supposed to with some kind of set screw so you know you can't mess it up. All right, see how that looks. Nice and flat. Just looking at the gaps all the way around. Okay, we're in, we're good. Still aligned, yep. Oh, that already looks so much better. Just that little change. Okay, happy with that. So this can go back in. Okay, that part's done. Now, case back. I don't know if that's useful or not, but I used to service camera sensors. And believe me, you want to blow absolutely every step of the way. If you leave a speck of dust in a camera, you're going to know about it real quick when you try to take a picture. Okay, not super worried about the seal since the water tightness is almost useless. 3 bar, meaning don't worry about washing your hands or getting it splashed in the rain. But that's it. Don't swim. Don't immerse it. Not that I do anyway with any of my leather band watches. It's funny, I've got a Carrera Chrono that's only 5 bar. Everybody online says, oh, you know, just don't even go swimming hard with it. I scuba dive with it. I scuba dive down to 100 feet with it. Around the world, multiple times. Never had a problem. 16 years had it serviced. Looked great. That was a 5 bar. Oh yeah, I am super happy with that. All right, let's finish this guy off. Time for its new shoes. Let's see, single. I flip singles. There we go. I'm going to put this clasp on and leave the reveal. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That worked, my friends. That looks great. It's almost an olive in certain light. It's a little more green looking here on the camera screen. Under these lights direct, it's a little more gray, but it's this beautiful patina of the full grain. And that dial just looks so much better. Just seeing Seiko, the automatic, day-date, and the beautiful design. Now it looks so much better. Totally easy to do. Once you know the tricks, I love figuring this stuff out. You know, run into the roadblocks along the way. That's what these videos are going to be about, just having fun and cool projects like this. So there you go. If you want to do this, this whole thing cost me under 150 bucks. Not even close to what this looks like. I mean, is it super high quality? No, it's a very basic movement, but it works. It's got day-date and it looks absolutely fantastic. That's it. See you next time.